You are listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, presented by Richard A. Boxshall, in which I chronicle my life and attempts to become a professional writer by, doing some writing daily, hopefully. Hello, it is Sunday the 21st of July 2024. You're listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. I didn't think I was going to record anything today, mainly because I'm working on a night flight, so I usually get up a little bit in the morning and then try and get some sleep in the afternoon because I'm going to be working all night. And I've kind of done that. I've had a little doze, I've got up and done some stuff, and I'm about to have another little doze. But I did actually get some writing done yesterday. So, as you may have been following, I ended up in Lisbon the night before last, having been expected to be in Naples, but it was all due to this IT issue, which I think was something to do with Microsoft. Don't quote me on that, but it was a global IT problem which affected everybody, including airlines and other businesses anyway. So I ended up in a different, I still worked and I still did a night stop, but I ended up in somewhere different. And I was very lucky because I got to position home. Now, positioning is what airlines call it when they move people about when they're not working. So I was needed on the first flight out to Naples, but they already had the person doing my job in place for the flight home. And this is all due to disruption because people are in the different places they're expected to be. That's not a common thing that happens. It does occasionally happen, but it doesn't happen commonly. So yeah, effectively I was a passenger coming home yesterday. And the first thing I'll say is I know why I don't fly as a passenger very often, because just airports, they're not nice places. So I obviously had to be a passenger. I had to go through the passenger. So as crew, we're quite lucky. We have an expedited security lane. We don't really have to queue. We just go straight through the staff channel. Everything's quick and easy. And also, just silly things like there's somewhere for us to sit if there's a delay. As a passenger yesterday, because the plane was slightly delayed, not only by an hour or so, but security, luckily there weren't long queues at security, so that wasn't too bad. But then you had a walk to a gate. It was a long old walk. I mean, I found out afterwards the crew had been taken there on a bus. But yeah, walk to the gate and you get there and there's not enough seats for how many passengers there are on the plane. And because the plane is delayed, everybody's there. And because I got there later than most, there was nowhere to sit. So I had to wander around and find a cafe. And once I got on the plane, the flight was absolutely lovely. And the reason I'm saying it is I actually managed to do some work. My first thoughts had been to maybe doze, but I was wide awake. I hadn't done much that morning, and I was wide awake. So I got my laptop out and actually wrote the first, I think, 15 to 1600 words of chapter 33 of Empress of the Trees. Very, very pleased that I actually managed to do that. I'm not going to get any writing done today because, as I say, I'm going to doze now and then I've got a night flight into Abuja in Nigeria. But at some point tomorrow I will try and do some more writing from Abuja in Nigeria. And obviously I couldn't live stream my writing on the plane, but I did record it. I did record me doing the work. I did kill the sound because obviously I don't want to put conversations of people around me out there. That wouldn't be fair. But yeah, so if you go to twitch.tv or my YouTube channel, the writing I did is actually there. But yeah, it was a scene basically in which it is determined that Mackenzie is going to die soon. This infection he's been, he's got because of this apparatus that's been attached to him to enable him to communicate with the trees is killing him. He's very unlikely to regain consciousness. And yeah, it's a scene where he's connected to the tree once more, and even the tree is saying, yeah, you're not going to use this as a mouthpiece because it's going to die soon, and I can't be inhabiting the body when it dies, because if it does I'll die too. So yeah, and it was it's quite refreshing because I haven't written anything new for this story for a very long time. And obviously I've read the whole thing and edited everything to get me up to this point, so it's not like I'm unfamiliar with the characters and stuff, but once I got going it was so easy to write. Now, in a way it was weird because the scene contained 4 characters, but none of them were any of my major characters. The closest was Mackenzie, but he's been inhabited by this tree spirit, so he was being the tree spirit, not himself. So even though it was his mouth speaking the lines, it wasn't his character. But no, I enjoyed writing it. I enjoyed the revelation that Mackenzie has come to an inner peace about how he feels for Marianne, which is nice. It's a shame he's not going to get the chance to tell them that, really, isn't it? But, well, not for a while. I still haven't quite decided how that story arc is going to pan out. I think it's going to be a sort of happy ending. But yeah, so a little celebration. I did some writing yesterday. It was only about an hour and a bit because it was a relatively short flight, and I was fed as well. I was in business class, darlings. Yeah, but no, it was good, and it's got my enthusiasm up because now I'm working down the list of scenes for this chapter. I'm quite keen to write the next one, and the next one will actually feature all of my main characters. Also, I did talk about earlier, there was I had to write Marianne out earlier than I intended. I've worked a way around that. It's important that it's a character that knows how to communicate with trees that's written out. And actually it would be better if it was Ursula, because she's a character that's tertiary. She's important, but she's not had any major moments. Well, she's had a couple, but anyway. So I've decided it will be her that ends up getting incapacitated and has to link with the trees to effectively pass on the message that Ronnie's in trouble and needs to be rescued by the school. Now that will mean nothing to you, but it means a lot to me. Anyway, but as I say, to underline, I wrote about 1600 words yesterday. I won't be doing more today, but I plan to do plenty more tomorrow. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm back on the horse. Take care. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye. You have been listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, presented by Richard A. Boxall. Thank you for tuning in to my random ramblings, and if you'd like to know more about me or my projects, visit my link tree at linktr.ee/Richard Wright, capital R, capital W. Thank you for listening.